I'm Ed Gaskin, and I want to welcome you back to another edition of Making Your Neighborhood Work. This week, we have Carol Moynihan, the principal of Retail Visioning, who's going to talk about the retail visioning service that the City of Boston Office of Business Development provides. Carol, glad to have you with us today.
Nice to meet you. Glad to be here.
So, we're going to start out and just say, what is retail visioning, since none of us have ever heard of that before?
Right. Retail Visioning is a free technical assistance program that the City of Boston offers to retailers, restaurateurs, and storefront business owners like salons and so forth to help them improve the look and feel and marketing of their business, to help them really have the customer experience be the best it can be and help them be the best business owners that they can be.
And so what qualifies you to be the expert, subject matter expert, technical assistance expert for this topic?
Well, I guess to pat myself on the back, I have been doing it for a very long time.
Okay.
I was the founder of a program with a partner of mine, Nina Monastero, called Best Retail Practices for a HUD program for the city of Cambridge.
Huh.
We started that in the year 2002. So I've been teaching workshops and working one-on-one with over 450 small urban businesses throughout the state of Massachusetts.
Did you say 450?
450 businesses have had one-on-one consultations with me.
Wow.
Over 1,500 businesses have attended workshops, business owners have attended workshops across the state.
Okay.
Before that, I was the vice president of retail marketing for Clark's Footwear. And so I did all of the brand marketing, and I helped open up all their stores across the country as well. So I've been in small business from footwear to bars to convenience stores to salons, all kinds of different businesses. So it's been a little bit of everything.
So does that mean...
Oops. Cell phone. Cell phone alert.
I don't know what that was, but so does that mean that at the smallest store, retail store in the city is able to have somebody with your expertise come in and help them for free?
Absolutely. That's what we do.
Okay, so you said that it's a technical assistance program, and so what does it actually cover?
We cover looking at your store from the customer's point of view.
Okay.
We take a look at what your business is all about. We take a look at the neighborhood. We take a look at your positioning. Maybe something there has to be shifted around a little bit. We take a look at the exterior and the interior, and we take a look at what you're doing to attract new customers. So we try and make recommendations from the customer's point of view about how to improve your business and how to be a better merchant yourself.
Okay, so you start, I think you said the curb appeal, so you start from the curb and then going forward.
Well, curb appeal is so important. We believe in the power of presentation.
Okay.
Curb appeal is so important when you're selling a house. It's the same thing when you're opening your store every single day. And it's important to think about what people see. When people see the outside of the store, they're probably attracted to come in.
Okay.
Then when they come in, they cross that threshold, the inside has to be just as dynamic. And the outside, the curb appeal includes your signage, the window displays, and how neat and clean the actual glass is. Sometimes people forget to take care of the basics. We remind everybody about all of those things.
I don't know what is happening with me. So my question is, talk about the process that you go through to making that happen.
Okay. So when a business applies for the technical assistance that we provide, they go through the Office of Business Development or through the Main Street Directors or through some other community resource that would hook them up with this opportunity. Then they go in and they look at the, we go in with a camera and a notepad, and we have about an hour and a half conversation with the business owner right in their store, right on site. We take a lot of pictures because sometimes when you look at the store, the picture, instead of looking at it through your own eyes, it looks quite different. So we go in and we have this one-on-one conversation about the good, the bad, the ugly, the dreams and the opportunities you wish for your store, the couple of things that you think you know would make a difference, and we talk about what kind of impact those things would make. And we look at we come up with our own ideas as well, maybe something that you didn't see at all. Then we come back, we go back to our offices and we write up a report. We come back and we bring in a report of 4 or 5 pages long with lots of pictures, and we show the recommendations that we think will improve your business. It's a sharing session. Then at the end of the sharing session, we come up with an implementation plan. We ask the business owners to commit to making some improvements, and we try to help them with that. So when we make the implementation plan, we don't just come up with some great ideas and walk away. We stay with you and we come up with 4 or 5 ideas. When we agree on those 4 or 5 ideas, then we sort of work with you to make sure that they get implemented so that you can actually experience the good work that those several steps are helping your business improve.
So basically you're doing it from the conceptual strategic standpoint all the way down to tactical implementation.
Right down to seeing it happen. If we suggest a coupon, we'll go and make sure we get those coupons printed, and we'll show you how to use them, how to track them, and then we'll look together at what the impact those coupons have done for you.
So you literally, is there a limit of hours that you can give per store?
You know, somehow we make it work. You know, some businesses need a little more, some business owners have more time to invest, some business owners need a little more support, maybe on the research end. Maybe somebody needs a new cash wrap, a new service desk. Well, we might help them design that and help them get that built. We can't pay for everything, but we can contribute a little bit sometimes. And you know, that if that's what we need to have done, then that's what we do. Someone else needs to maybe put together work policies or some sort of staff guide or something. That might take a little more time. But so sometimes it doesn't take a lot of time, sometimes it takes hours, but we make it balance out.
So when you talked about doing a staff guide, so that's not even just visual merchandising. You're talking about the entire customer experience.
Well, in small businesses, everyone knows customer service is really important. So we need to sometimes help business owners realize that they need to have policies and procedures for everyone to be performing to the same standard. So
what are some of the main reasons for looking at the business from the customer's perspective?
Well,
or is that why you say, look, the customer experience is so important, and customer service is so important, and then the first step in that is teaching the business owners to look at it from the customer's perspective?
Well, you know, it's kind of human nature. If you own the business, first of all, it's human nature. If you own the business, it's very hard for you to step out of your own role as the business owner, as the merchant, who has to do all the buying, hire the staff, organize the store, you know, do all the financial arrangements and all of those things, manage everything. It's very hard for you to step out of that and look at it from a customer's point of view, as if you didn't know anything.
Okay.
So we try and bring that perspective in. Other things that are important in that regard are that the demographics are always changing. So say you're a store in Eggleston Square or in Dudley, things are changing there. Dudley's going through a major transformation. We may be bringing in new customers. Maybe you need to think about how those customers will see a business that you've been running for a different audience for a very long time. So we try and bring in that perspective and help you understand those shifts. The other thing is customers talk to one another. So they might get on the cell phone, they might be in one of those sharing apps where they tell people where they are and saying they're having a great experience. They might be texting one another. They're going to talk about you. So you want to be sure that the message that they're sharing among one another is going to be the message that you understand and think is valuable for your business.
Okay, fair enough. So human nature gets in the way, things change, people talk.
People talk, and let me tell you, when all of these things come together and one business does a little bit better and another business does a little bit better, they notice one another. And that brings everybody's businesses up a notch. Everybody starts to notice, well, they've got a new sign and their windows look great and the customers are going in there. Well, that's good for the whole area. At Retail Visioning, we kind of believe that a rising tide lifts all boats. So we believe that if all these businesses improve a little, everybody's business in the neighborhood gets better. And that just makes a small neighborhood shopping area a really compelling destination.
So why did you say it's as important to work in your business as on your business? It's as important to work on your business as in the business?
Well, it is. I mean, everybody sort of knows that in theory, that you should be working on your business and pay attention to it. Set aside a little bit of time every week to think about what it looks like from your customer's point of view, what kind of messages the customer's getting from the way your staff interacts with them. So it is important to just step back and work on your business.
So why don't we just take a take a step and look at some of the examples that you provided so people can get, we've talked sort of conceptually.
Sure.
And the first example we have is this Latino beauty beauty salon.
Right, right. Latino Beauty Salon is a great business, and they have recently talked to, at a presentation with Mayor Walsh, they recently said they've increased their business 30% by working with Retail Visioning because they really paid attention to cleaning up their inside, organizing the flow in their space, and they started making sort of requests of their customers to make appointments. They created tools like frequent shopper cards where people who came in for a certain number of services would get an additional service for free at the end of maybe 9 or 10 services. They put referral cards together, and they started having customers come in and get a little bit of a discount for bringing in a friend. So they grew their business sort of by very small steps, but working hand in hand with their customers. We also helped them get a website set up, which made them just be visible. We also changed their positioning just a tiny bit because it was known as Latino Beauty Salon, and in fact, it had a specialty. Rosanna, the owner, was known in the area for doing great work with eyes. She does eyelashes, she does eyebrows, she does eye makeup. She's an eye expert. And we actually put that into the sort of subtitle of the business. It's Latino Beauty Salon with Eyes by Rosanna.
Okay.
And that's right on the cards, it's right on the outside of the windows, and it really shows up, and people who knew it now realize that there's many more services that they can take advantage of there. And people who are looking online or in any other resource at a fair for eye services, they know to go to Rosanna because she's famous for it.
Now, you said you helped them with a website, so they had no website before that?
They did not. A lot of these small businesses do not have an internet presence. And you don't have to have a big, sophisticated website. You do have to have presence, whether it's just 1 or 2 pages. There are so many ways that you can get an inexpensive website put up now. And then you're searchable, you're findable, and you can claim your Google place, and then people can go online. If they're looking for someone who is an expert in eyebrow shaping, they would find Rosanna. So this is really important. We have helped a lot of small businesses with that this year.
Well, it's interesting. In my area, I did a Google search on, I have 177 businesses. I had 6 that had websites.
Oh, there you go.
And I was surprised, but I'm sure in their mind, they think that their customers are just coming from the neighborhood. All their friends and family already know them, and therefore they may not see the merits of having a website.
That is a huge misconception that a lot of small business owners have. They are always telling me, well, my customers already know, this is what I do, this is my pricing, this is what we specialize in, or this is how we service our customers. Well, what about those customers that don't know you yet?
Yes.
Those are the customers that are going to help you grow your business. We want to figure out what we can do to make those customers know about you and care about coming in to check you out. Then it's up to you again to make these people into your customers.
So this store, Kaya, what happened there?
Kaya, it was a beautiful salon and spa. It's up in Somerville. It's not in downtown Boston, not in one of the Boston areas. But what they did when they first brought in all their product was they were so excited to have become distributors of this one line of care that they put it all right in the window. And so it looked beautiful in the window, but it blocked anyone looking in. It looked like a retail store that sold hair care and body care products. It didn't look like a full-service salon and spa. You couldn't see the reception desk, you couldn't see the name inside, so we suggested that they simply reorganize their space, move the furniture for the guests who were waiting against the windows, and move the product against a sidewall so that people looking in, walking by, driving by could see into the store and see their beautiful reception desk and their beautiful signage that said Kaya Salon and Spa.
So why is being able to see into a store so important?
Well, to be honest, there are a lot of reasons that it's important. In this case, you couldn't tell what the business was. I
see.
In other cases, customers are comfortable with natural light.
I see.
And it's really important for them to be able to see in, certainly it's safer to feel like you're in a place that's not all barricaded up. If you're a small restaurant, you certainly want people to be able to walk by and see in, to see that there are other people dining. Everyone knows the line that says you don't go into a restaurant that doesn't have any customers. It probably doesn't have such good food. But if you see that people are in there dining already, you want to go in there and check it out. So.
Yeah, because they say the same about the posters and all. So there's several different ways that people try to promote their business
Right.
with all this stuff on the window.
Right.
And you're saying it's actually counterproductive.
It is counterproductive. And I always recommend that people put a bulletin board inside their store, maybe, where they can put up community service messages.
Okay.
That's very nice to be a good community member, but honestly, it's your store. You want to be promoting your products, your brand, your customer service, and you should be so proud of it that you want people looking in and seeing it and wanting to partake of it.
I had a convenience store I was at recently, and they had all of their soda stacked floor to ceiling in front of the windows.
Oh, boy.
And so you couldn't see it because it was just a wall of solid, basically dark, whether it was Pepsi or Coke, but you couldn't see
Right.
into it because of that.
Right, right.
And I'm sure they just thought they were just, it was storage, right? Because they needed the space, and this was a nice convenient corner to stack
Right.
this stuff up.
Right. That's a sort of a typical problem. But, you know, and managing storage and managing inventory is something else that we can actually help with. And we do discuss that with people. Sometimes bringing in all kinds of inventory and having it so uncomfortable for customers to walk through is not really a good idea. So, you know, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Getting windows open and customers able to see in and experience what's going on and get intrigued enough to come in and is really a good idea.
So what about Donmark Computers? What happened there?
Donmark Computers is a great guy. His name is Donovan, and we had a great time working with him. They're up in Hyde Park, and he's a full-service computer sales and repair, and he also does he does some software development for people. So he had, over time, added more and more and more vinyl lettering messaging to his windows. And we were able to point out to him that people, when there's so much to read, people read nothing.
I see.
So it was just confusing and complicated. So we just recommended, why don't we go with icons? Certainly you have several big messages: a computer, a laptop, delivery and on-site repair services, because they have a little car, they'll go out and take care of a small business by doing things on site instead of having you bring in the tools, you know, your laptop or something. And network security. They also do a lot of network security. So we created icons that would fit right along the bottom edge of their windows and cleared out everything else. Again, letting customers look in. He also had put mirrors all on the back wall of his store, which was very distracting. First of all, when you went in, because there was a nice counter and there were nice people that were there to help you, but there was all these mirror tiles. It was very confusing to look around. It was cumbersome and complicated and distracting. Plus, they were all reflecting all these letterings that were on the back side of these windows. So we said, let's take that down and just put up a big, clear red wall, which was his favorite color, and then we put up menu boards that actually itemized the services that he has. It made it so much easier for people to come in and say, oh, well, this is what I want. I want this package where you take my computer in, you clean it all up, take care of all the viruses, and make sure it's running efficiently. Or I have a real problem and I need you to fix just this. So he was able to communicate without everything being customized.
You know, when you talk about signage, I remember somebody there talking about the difference of signage that you would see in a Walmart. At that time, they were talking about Ames and another couple stores, just to be able to navigate your way around the store and how high the signs were, where they were located. Like, I know sometimes I've had a hard time finding the right aisle for a particular product. Right.
We call that wayfinding signage, and sometimes it's very important. It depends on the size of the store. We've actually worked with convenience stores that have put up, that only have 3 aisles, but they have put up signs, because the idea of a convenience store is to be as efficient as possible.
I see.
You want to go in and go out. You want to know exactly where the baby products are if you're making a midnight run. You want to know where the dry goods are, or there's been a disaster at your house and you need all the household cleaning supplies. So, you know, you want to know where to go and grab those kinds of things.
It just seems if it's only 3 aisles, you could search the whole store in 3 minutes.
Well, you know, we're helping.
But I think the point is that it makes a better customer experience, right?
That's right.
You're able, so you're able to go in, find what you need, and get on your way.
Right. As I said, that's what the goal is of a convenience store. You could just run up and down the aisles, but you want to just be efficient. So helping the customer do that is fulfilling their objective when they go into your store.
All right, so our next example is Jerusalem Furniture.
Jerusalem Furniture is an interesting store. The one that we helped was in Epham's Corner, and we were able to go in, and they were just sort of reorganizing their store, and we were able to help them understand that if they put things together in vignettes of furniture, that they would sell more than one piece. For example, if you had a matching sofa and chair, that might go together, but if you put it with a coffee table, instead of having all the coffee tables someplace else, then they might buy the coffee table too. And that's another thing to think about. How is the customer experience when they come in to shop in your particular store? If you can figure out what their shopping experience should be, for example, a sporting goods store. If I use an example, a sporting goods store could say, let's put all of the shoes over here and the jackets over here and the rackets and bats and lacrosse sticks over to the right. Well, a customer who's coming in for a tennis racket is really not going to look at the bats and the lacrosse sticks, but he might look for tennis shoes, a tennis jacket, extra balls, and what you want to do is you want to sell all of those items to that particular customer. So organizing your store where all the tennis gear is together makes so much more sense than organizing it by the way it might have sounded good to you by saying, well, the shoe department or the equipment department. But if you think about how the customer is going to shop it, and you can do that, then again, a wayfinding signage there would be tennis, softball, lacrosse. So that would all be great for that kind of a customer. Thinking about how your customer is going to come in a clothing store, you're going to want to have the blouses with the slacks or with the skirts instead of having just everything be different and finding your way all around the store.
So is that an example of cross-selling?
Sure. Sure, it's multiple selling, which is important. Cross-selling is really helpful, and it helps customer understand, for example, why one thing would go with another. But multiple selling and upselling are two other strategies that we try to implement when we ask someone to reorganize the way the store is organized.
This slide here on Insight, what was the point of that?
That was an example of showing wide aisles and sort of generosity of spirit.
I see.
And also there are a couple of points when you're organizing the flow through your store. First of all, you don't want to create a center aisle that just makes a beeline to the back.
I see.
Where things are on sale. You want customers to actually bump into product when they go through your store. So having wide aisles and having fixtures in the middle of the floor, not just lined up on the wall, is really important. So it's helpful to put things in the way. Think about whether or not two customers can walk in together, or a wheelchair or a stroller can get through your store.
I see. So if somebody has watched this and they're very interested in utilizing your services, all the expertise and experience that you have, what's their next step?
Well, they should speak with their Main Street director if they're part of Main Streets, or call the Office of Business Development.
Okay.
And I think they will be able to help you with an application.
Okay.
And then it's a matter of, they're going through the process of figuring out. Everything starts again anew July 1st for the City of Boston. So they'll be showing you how that works.
And they can get one of these booklets that you have?
Yes, they can get that from the Office of Business Development or from their Main Street director. A Retailer's Gut Check is just a little booklet that has about 60 questions that talks you down, that will help you give yourself a little self-assessment. It talks you through a process of looking at the outside, looking at the inside, checking yourself on your marketing, and figuring out whether or not there are some areas that you could improve upon, or if you're doing a pretty good job.
Well, Chris, thank you very much for being with us today.
You're very welcome.
And I would like to thank viewers who watched another edition of Making Your Neighborhood Work here on BNN, and we'll see you next time for another show.
Thank you.